Hi, my name's Dave Salvador,
I am Bill Eastman.
and together we are bringing you the A-Rock National Convention Concours this year. We'll be handling the judging as well as...
As well as the scoring.
That's right. So, we're going to break this scoring up into three divisions: interior, exterior, and engine and chassis. We will run you through the scoring sheets and a system of judging so that we can get these cars judged appropriately and quickly.
All right, we want to have fun and we want to pick the three best cars. These are our overriding objectives for this whole exercise. Everyone involved should have fun, and the judge's responsibility is to pick the three best cars, 1, 2, and 3, in each of the respective classes. Now, there's a lot of work to do and not much time to do it. So we're going to spend about 15 minutes per each car in the judging. Then it'll take about 5 minutes to compile the scores and to move to the next car. That is 20 minutes per judge car, or 3 per hour. We hope there's no more than 4 judging hours spent, or 12 cars total. As I said before, we've got about 15 minutes to judge these cars, and they're going to be judged in 3 areas: the exterior, the interior, and the chassis. Each person will have a sheet, a judging sheet, and will look at the car through the perspective of that one particular area. These are some samples right here. We have the chassis, for instance, the interior, and then the exterior. So you're going to fill these things out with a maximum deduction in any one area of 2 points. So in this particular case, on the chassis, wheels and tires, if it had 4 mismatching tires and the wheels were different colors, it would be 2 points off. That's unlikely to happen. You may take less off, and you can take as little as 1/2 a point off. So if it was one of the tires didn't match and it annoyed you greatly, you could take off 1/2 a point. Now, we've only got 15 minutes, so you're going to have to be focused on the car. The owner, however interesting he may be, shouldn't be engaged. Stay focused on the car. Give every single car that you look at that day exactly the same inspection routine. Then get together, score the cars as you move to the next car, and you will find that you get a good, consistent result that picks the top 3 cars. That's our goal. Always thank the gentleman for showing his car. Smile. Say something nice, but don't engage him during the thing. Now, cleanliness is way more important than authenticity, than anything else. So always look for how clean the cars are. Now, this is going to become increasingly important as you go to the modified class. Now, modified cars are not going to get any particular deduction for authenticity issues. They could have a later engine and transmission. They could have suspension modifications. They could be a custom color with ostrich skin interior. What you will look for is the level of craftsmanship and quality that each one of those cars represents. Obviously, if they've glued doll heads on them, or they put broken pieces of mirror all over the bodywork as a form of personal expression, that's probably less desirable than the ostrich skin interior. Now, for any car, there's not going to be any deductions today for non-original batteries or any of the other perishables, the hoses, the belts, the brake pads, the tires, although the tires should match.
We will initiate our video of the car by taking you for a walk around a subject car, and that's what we'd like you to do as you enter the field. You'll have a head judge and 2 additional judges. You'll decide which of you are the head and the other 2. you'll choose your interior, exterior, or engine compartment choice of expertise, and then enter the ground. We'll look at all of the cars in the class and get a general scheme of what the cars have to offer, so that you can initially tell perhaps even the winner and the range of cars, so that when you start your judging, if your first car is a car out in the middle, you don't overjudge it, degrade it too far, or whatever may happen, because you know there are cars above and below it. And we are looking for consistency. Then we will break up the car into the three exterior, interior, and engine compartment, and illustrate the judging with the sheets, so that you can comprise your score and move on to the next car fairly quickly. We'll greet the owner, the head judge can introduce the other judges, and then we'll ask the owner to close the car, and we'll proceed with the judging. Then, as we reach a point where we want to see the car run and everything, we'll break from each of the judging activities and operate the car. We'll show that, and then final out the judging and say goodbye to the owner. And so from here we'll go to our video with the car.
All right. Now, when you first arrive at the field, you want to walk around all the cars to get a rough idea of the best and the worst cars. You'll just get an overwhelming opinion or impression of each car by maybe 10 feet away, walking around, glancing inside the car, just looking at the general paint. Is it all there? Does it work? This is the exterior. And it's got seven items here: plating, trim, coachwork, paint, glass, the fit of the panels, and finally authenticity. We're going to look at a car here in a second. For plating, we're going to make sure it's shiny, it's all the same color, it's not dented. The trim should be straight, it should fit the body. The coachwork should be straight, flat, the panels should fit. The paint should be glossy. There shouldn't be orange peel or crazing. There shouldn't be different colors or patches underneath revealing Bondo or old repairs. The glass should be clean, clear, and unscratched. And by the way, with the glass, it can be seen from the inside. Make sure you work with the interior judge to make sure you don't miss a deduction or judge it twice. Now, if you look at the pictures of this car here, you can look at the chrome, you can look at the trim, the coachwork, the paint, and the glass as we go around the car. In this particular case, it's pretty shiny. There's no dents, no dings. It looks pretty darn straight. Nice headlight rings. The trim. I'm also looking at the panel fit at the same time. The badges. I'm wondering what's behind them. I'm looking at gaskets. The lenses are unbroken. The screws aren't rusty. The reflectors are mounted straight up and down. Again, panel fit. We're looking for an even gap all the way around the car. I'm looking at how flat the paint is. No touch-up areas. Here again we see there's just a teeny bit of orange peel on this car, not bad. The gaskets are really nice. The key lock isn't boogered up. The side trim doesn't have any dings in it. The glass here fits the contour of the body very nicely. The overhead trim, the rain gutter trim, it fits perfectly. The vertical B-pillar trim, excellent. Very nice spear on the front. So these are the kind of things you look at when you look at the exterior, and you look at the same ones on every single car, exactly the same. That's the exterior.
Now let's take a look at the interior. This sheet is comprised of the dash and headliner, seats, doors and carpet, instruments, trunk and tools, convertible top and boot, and once again the authenticity. So we'll take a look at all these aspects of this car and judge each of them for yellowing. Chrome, once again, will take place in the interior. The trunk and tools, how complete those are, and if this car is a hard top, but in the case of a convertible top, you'll need to see that both in the erected position initially and then the operation of it as the owner puts the top down. We'll look at things like interior materials, the carpet type and material. So just follow along now as we take a look at the car. Here we are looking into the interior. This car has an aftermarket steering wheel, period correct Nardi, which was of the era of the car, the flat spoke, large rimmed wheel. The car has the we'll say short pile carpet. We're looking at the back area of the car. Of course, the owner would move the seats for you. All the panels are in this car correctly. It doesn't have a back seat. That was an option. Here we are looking at the dash again. Let's check the condition of the gauge plastic to see that it's correct. This car has very nice knobs. Door panels are very nice. We're looking at the chrome strips along. Now we look down the door edge. Very nice. Now we're into the trunk. We'll take a look. It has a Pirelli Centerato. It has rubber bands holding the handle for the trunk, for the jack. That just keeps the rattles away. Complete tool kit. Has the original mat, original tire hold down, wheel hold down there. Battery hold downs aren't correct or original.
All right, the chassis now. We've got motor detail, the engine compartment, the undercarriage, the engine start and idle, the exhaust system, wheels, tires, wiring lights, and again, authenticity. You should have heard the engine start and idle when the owner demonstrated the car. You should have looked at the gauges to make sure that they work and ask about the radio. We're not going to look at the windshield wipers. We assume that they work. The car did make it onto the field, so we assume the transmission, the engine propelled the car forward and that the brakes stopped it. So your job here is to, once again, look at every single car exactly the same way, with the same repetition and the same routine. And when it comes to the engine, we're going to be looking at how clean it is, cleanliness, 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 once again. And so let's look at the car real briefly. Here's an engine bay. Not too dirty, is it? There's a few chips and scrapes and scratches, but this car's been used. All in all, it looks pretty darn good. You'll look real fast at the hose clamps and see if they're all the same. You're going to look at the paint around the engine on the firewall. Notice the paint on the headers. Looks like they're powder-coated silver. Hammerite on the rocker cover. There's some dirt in the spark plug wells. That's a quarter point in my mind. I'm looking, there's some dents in the radiator fan. Another quarter point. Yeah, okay. There's a little bit of dirt over there. The hoses, the vent hoses are scuffed up. The water bag's a little dirty. We're working our way towards a point maybe off in this engine bay. Not bad at all. It's hard to use a car and keep it this clean. And you have to admire somebody who uses it. Here's a homemade device. It functions, and sometimes you can't find an original one. It's hard to fault people too much when they can't find something original. All in all, not bad. There's some reproduction, original-looking hose clamps, and there's correct Lobo fasteners on there. Right there we see some non-authentic washers, but that's okay. They're hardened. They're the correct kind of washer, aircraft quality, so that's no problem. What else are we looking at here? There's a scuff in the hose there. We hope it doesn't leak on the next tour. We're coming down towards some details here. In this particular case, the owner's showing us that it's been transistorized. A very nice modification. And it maintains the pristine original look of the original Lucas control box or voltage regulator while ensuring more reliability. That's certainly no point off, even though he was straightforward. Notice the chassis number 21407 on this 10102 car. And we're going to check that here. We might as well look down and see if, in fact, this ID plate matches the car. It only takes a second. There it is, 21407. And we'll notice that it also has one of those correct original type reproduction clamps. It's a new one. All in all, these are the kind of things you look at in the engine bay. Now you're going to drop down on the knee and you're going to look at the bottom of the car. You're going to look at the inside the wheels, at the brakes, and see if there's dirt on the fins of the brakes. You're going to look at the exhaust and see if it's rusty with holes in it or if it's shiny. You're going to look at the oil pan and the cross member to see if there's leaking oil all over the place or if they look pretty clean and pristine. And that's what I got to say about that. The overall scoring of this thing is going to be an accumulation of the three things we just looked at: the exterior, the interior, and the underneath chassis engine underneath the car. And you'll see that you get 100 points, you subtract the deductions, and you pick the top three. Now it's the judge's responsibility, each team of three, to bring in a completed summary sheet. It'll have the class number on top, and it'll have the individual car numbers and a description of them. Be clear about which car is first, second, and third. Please, all you judges, sign off on this to authenticate it as being an accurate, verified total, because we're gonna award prizes based on this report. So be sure that this is accurate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'd like to thank you for watching and hope you enjoy the show, the judging process, and the whole experience. Thanks for coming to Veloce Nel Verde Concours 2009.